So, you've heard that blue collar jobs are the way to go. That's definitely been the rage in the past probably year on social media, YouTube. And you know what? On all those lists, I feel like one has been missing. One has been missing the entire time that everybody overlooks. So, what do we hear about? You've got your plumbers, electricians, HVAC, roofers, just anything in the trades, basically, the trades, okay? So this is a trade that people aren't talking about. And you hear over and over again all those ones I just mentioned. And they're all great because there is a generation that is aging out of those trades. And they're all the baby boomers, and there's a lot of them. The next generations, there just aren't that many people that have been interested in doing blue-collar, laborious trades or jobs. But what's interesting is that during that time, we were all told, go to school, get good grades, go to a college, and get some kind of corporate tech or office job. At least a lot of people were taught that. I wasn't personally, but I know a lot of the world has been, and that's kind of been the trajectory of our nation, the world really. Big tech, we see a lot of people making a lot of money quickly with tech. But that's all about to change. With the advent of AI, I think a lot of those jobs are going to go away. And if you know how to utilize AI, you'll be on the forefront of that. But if you don't, I'm going to let you in on a little blue collar trade that nobody's talking about. So what is it? Well, it's being a jeweler. You're probably thinking, Adam, you're crazy, man. What are you talking about? I'm not talking about a jeweler as in you walk into a jewelry store and you buy something out of the case. I'm talking about a bench jeweler, aka a goldsmith, repair jeweler. That's the guy. That's the girl. That's the person I'm talking about. Now, why would it be that trade has been overlooked? Well, I believe it's because it is tied to retail very heavily. It's not necessarily a need. Okay, so even in economic downturns like we're coming into right now, there's a couple things that never go down in sales. In fact, sometimes the sales even get greater in economic downturns. One of those being alcohol, because people use that to cope, right? Coffee, alcohol, nicotine, all those things tend to be pretty safe bets, even in a downturned economy. Now, this specific trade I'm speaking of, jewelry repair is where I'm going with this. I shouldn't say everyone, but most people are married or have a piece of jewelry that they've inherited or has been gifted or they bought themselves. Well, there's a lifespan on that jewelry, and eventually it's going to fail. Even well-made things, they get broken, you get caught on something and it breaks, you have to get it repaired. Well, who does that? Well, the jewelry mechanic is the guy who does it, the goldsmith. And tied to these pieces of jewelry is a lot of sentimental value. Now that's what gets overlooked. If your toilet's not working, you're going to call a plumber because you need it working to function. Now, do you need a piece of jewelry to function? Absolutely not. You'll get by just fine without a piece of jewelry. Although there is tied to it such a sentimental value that grandma gave it to you, or your late husband or wife, or you name it, that people will get it repaired. And in doing so, there are not a lot of people doing this trade. There just isn't. I can go anywhere in the country right now and find a job as a bench jeweler. No joke. I can go anywhere. I see ads all the time, all over the place. Granted, sometimes the pay isn't great, but sometimes it is great. And it really depends on what you want to do. As for me, I chose to go the route of self-employment. So I am self-employed. And I get people coming in all the time saying, oh, I'm so glad I found you. I need this repaired. The story I've heard a million times is this has been sitting in my nightstand drawer for like 10 years, 20 years, and I just haven't got it fixed. And I saw your ad or something, your post, and I decided it was time to get it fixed. Or so-and-so, Sally referred me to you and I need it fixed. Anyway, so this industry, there is a great need. And a lot of the jewelers are older and they're phasing out. A lot of the stores you go to, they send their pieces to a repair shop. So it's a hub, it's a place, it's a wholesale jewelry store or manufacturing, and they send all their pieces to this hub, and they got a bunch of bench jewelers there, they do all the work, they send it back out to the stores, so they're working on volume. So the more volume they can do, the more they make. Whereas what I do is I'm just a one-man operation. I have my own studio. People find me, they get things repaired by me, and I hand it back to them. So it is a retail operation. Well, essentially, I'm charging retail prices, but I get to make my own hours. I work only by appointment. If someone needs something, they text me, call me, we set up a time, they come in. There are days that I'm here with the door open and people are welcome to walk in, but essentially I'm making my own hours. You can make really good money doing this. If you're proficient, you do a good job and you get a good reputation going, you can do just as well as an electrician or a plumber or much better than them too. It just really depends on your skill set and what you want to go after. Now, is it glamorous? No, it's not. It's not super glamorous, but you do get to make people's day. When they pick up their jewelry, they're like, oh, I haven't seen it look this good in forever, since I got it probably. You know, when it was gifted to me or I was proposed to or whatever, that's the last time it looked this good. So people walk away happy. And that's always, it brings a lot of fulfillment to me to be able to do that. You get to, so if you're a carpenter and you cut through wood, you have sawdust, you sweep it up, you throw it away. The dust I create, I sweep it up and I get paid for it. So I can send my dust into the refiner and he's going to write me a check for whatever the gold content was that was in the dust that I used to file and sand and cut to repair these pieces of jewelry, which is super cool in itself. Even a lot of times people would bring in jewelry that they don't need anymore. So you can trade. You can say, hey, I'll trade you, that ring for all this other work you want me to do. And then you're getting gold and you're getting out of the dollar bills and you're getting gold to sit on or silver or what have you. Now, it's not, like I said, it's not super glamorous. I'm basically a jewelry mechanic. Now, my hands aren't super dirty like a mechanic, but sometimes they are when I'm polishing. Anyways, so this trade, it's not often considered, but let me tell you something about it. It can be very, very lucrative. It takes a little bit more time because people have to trust you with their heirloom jewelry. They have to trust you with their engagement rings, wedding bands, etc. Now, I have a knack for this. I picked it up rather quickly. And anyone who has some fine motor skills, if you work on cell phones or you like to tinker with things, take things apart, put them back together, you can do this job. It's not brain surgery. Although having hands like a surgeon is, I don't know if I'd say it's crucial, but it's a good thing to have. If you have a steady hand and good eyes, you can do a lot in this industry. Furthermore, I'm in a Facebook group where there's thousands of jewelry store owners. Guess what everybody's looking for all the time? A bench jeweler. I need a goldsmith. I need a bench jeweler. I want them to be in-house. And there's different levels to being a bench jeweler. You can be a repair jeweler. You do ring sizings, new crowns, retipping, fixing chains, all those sorts of things. And you're kind of a repair jeweler. But you also have to know how to set gems. So that's kind of the next level, setting gems. That is a skill that is very precise. And to be a good gem setter, you have to put in lots of reps. And lots of reps means you're probably going to break some gemstones. Sorry to break it to you. It's just the way it is. Part of the industry. It's part of being a human. The cool thing about this is that I don't think AI can ever take this job away. There's always going to be a need. There's always going to be need for jewelry repair or ring sizings. You definitely want to make sure, if you're going to go out on your own, that you have the skills necessary to be successful. That's why I suggest starting out for a store. When you start out for a store, you get the opportunity to work under someone who has been doing it for years. And that's invaluable, especially if your goal is to go out on your own at some point. So I would start there. You can go to school, you can not go to school. There's a lot of ways to get into this industry. The barrier to entry is somewhat low. You don't have to go to school at all. You don't have to have a certificate. You don't have to have a license. So those are some great things about this. No license, no schooling. Anyone can really do it if you have a willingness to learn. And it's something that's in need. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have a trade that you think should be, on the list of blue-collar jobs that no one talks about, throw it in the comments. I'd love to hear about it, because this is one that I don't hear anybody talking about, and it's one I personally have experience with. Thanks for watching, guys.